My husband's daughter is jealous of my daughter and destroyed her gaming setup, so I kicked her out until she can pay for it, but she hasn't been farming, so I'm letting her stay homeless. I, 30F, married my husband Mark, 46M, 6 years ago. We each brought our own kids into this marriage. I brought my daughter, Leia, 14F, and he brought his two kids, Koi, 16M, and Coral, 14F. Mark and I have the kids full-time, but his children live with their mom for a few weeks during the summer. They moved into my lake house, which has 5 bedrooms. 2 of the bedrooms upstairs have bathrooms, and my daughter had one of those rooms, but as the girls began high school, Coral began complaining about not having a bathroom and said it's unfair. To which Mark and Koi told her to stop complaining. Leia said it was fine and asked us if she could turn the basement into her room. I didn't like that idea, but she begged, so I agreed. Turns out my daughter wanted a room makeover, so this worked out. We give the kids allowance and allowed them to get a work permit. Koi worked at an arcade and told the girls he could get them jobs. Coral refused to work, but Leia agreed. After 5 months of saving her allowance, she was able to buy everything she needed to decorate. Coral never bothered to go down there because she believed it was full of spiders, but Koi was down there every day helping her. After a week, she completely transformed the basement. She invited everyone down, and it was stunning. I didn't even know that computer towers could be clear. She looked so proud. Coral then screamed that it wasn't fair and that she wanted the basement now. Everyone began telling her off, but she began crying, and before we knew it, she ran over to the computer and threw the tower on the ground. The glass shattered and one of the monitors fell to the floor too, also breaking. What the freaking bleep, Coral? My daughter started crying, and I explained to Mark that Coral has to pay for this. He said her emotions are just high and that we'll get situated when everything calms down. I ran to Coral and yelled at her, saying that she's on punishment. Mark didn't agree, but I didn't care. Coral was unnecessarily crying and ran to her mother's car. Koi was trying to help my daughter and Mark tried to hand her $300, but Koi explained that Coral caused about $1,000 worth of damages. He said luckily the expensive pieces in the case were saved, but the case itself was about $450 and the monitor was $200. Mark was shocked it costs that much and said he doesn't have that kind of money. So I said she can't come back until my daughter's stuff is repaired with a sincere apology. Koi agreed and Mark was upset, saying he couldn't do that to his daughter. I told him to leave if that's the case. Mark left for a few hours and handed my daughter a check for $1,000, but I explained that Coral can't come back if there is no punishment. My husband's ex-wife is saying that I'm banning her from our home because she didn't deserve that bigger space and that we were treating Coral unfairly. But I said she did, and there was nothing unfair about the situation, and the ex just hung up. Now, my husband's ex-in-laws are flooding him with phone calls, saying he's a horrible dad. His sister even said he's being a bad parent, and they're best friends, so it's really getting to him. This happened last night, and he hasn't gotten up yet. Did I go too far in punishing Coral? My daughter was really upset after having her hard work destroyed like that. Update 1. I found out the complete story, and there is a lot of drama. It's over a boy, I'll explain. So both my daughters are cheerleaders, and there's a Valentine's Day dance coming up. All of Coral's friends are cheerleaders, and they all date football players except her. So for the past month, her friends have been trying to hook her up with a boy, let's call him Brad. But it turns out Brad is interested in Leia. After all the games, Brad talked with Leia. So Coral came up with a rumor that Leia plays Roblox. It's not really a rumor, but Brad found out. So after school a few days before the incident, Coral tells Brad how childish Leia is for still playing Roblox, and Brad says he doesn't think it's childish. Turns out him and his friends play and then invited Leia to join them. Then yesterday after school in the hallway, Brad and his friends recorded this big proposal to the dance that included flowers and chocolate, and Leia accepted. Apparently, Coral was crying at cheerleading practice, and Leia went up to ask what's wrong and if she needs anything. Coral and her friends started cursing Leia out, so Leia just backed off. Then this morning, Coral posted on Facebook about how Leia is the favorite child and that she was kicked out of her decorated bedroom in order for Leia to have it. Her mom, Andrea, had also posted something similar. Koi didn't want this to ruin Leia's reputation, so he posted everything about their lies. He also posted a picture of the shattered case and explained how everything Coral said was a lie and how Leia was nice enough to give up her bedroom. Andrea also called us some horrible names. Then Koi responded that the reason the custody is no longer 50-50 is because Andrea's husband hates kids. Apparently, Coral didn't know this, but Andrea sent my husband a text saying he knows how her husband feels about the kids being here, so he needs to make up with Coral and let her come back to my house. Mark then screenshotted this and sent it to Coral. She came home and went straight to her room. Given that she skipped practice, I think it's gotten pretty bad. Leia is on her way, so when she gets home, we'll have a family meeting. Update 2. So, we had a long talk. Coral came down and apologized to Leia, saying she was jealous about Brad. She also apologized to me for lying to her aunt. She believed that Leia got everything she asked for. So I had her explain, and the only thing she said was Brad. As I was about to explain, Mark stepped in and told her that wasn't everything. Mark then explained everything Coral got, which included a room makeover that Leia had to pay for on her own. A brand new laptop after Leia had to pay for her entire computer setup. He then asked, "Is this really about a guy that she doesn't have anything in common with?" Coral then told us how popular he was, and that because Leia is more of a nerd type of person, they don't mesh. Other than cheerleading, Leia is in Quiz Bowl and the robotics club. Leia explained how now that football was over, Brad was also in those clubs, and so are his friends who the other cheerleaders date. Coral then began crying again because after the Facebook post, her friends explained that their boyfriends don't want to be involved with a liar and advised them to stop hanging out with her. Today at lunch, they didn't sit with her, and she was alone. Mark calmly told her that was her own doing. She broke down and said, "I know." Mark then held her in his arms and apologized for sending her the screenshot and explained that I wasn't the bad guy. She then explained that Andrea told her that I forced Mark to get full custody so that we all could be one big happy family. So that, along with the Brad situation, made her lash out. We hugged while she apologized to me, and she apologized to Leia once again. I brought up family therapy, and everyone agreed. Coral took the post down already and apologized to Leia publicly. I know things are looking up, but without friends and this situation with her mom, I'm not sure what's going to happen.
Whoa, hold up. Let's talk about family drama and explosive reactions. Picture this. Stepmom goes nuclear, yelling and kicking out her stepdaughter. I mean, come on. Sure, punishment might be needed, but making snap decisions while you're seeing red? That's a recipe for disaster. And poor dad probably frozen in shock watching his wife go full Hulk mode. Here's the kicker. A family meeting could have solved everything. But nope. Stepmom decided to be judge, jury, and executioner. Let's be real, folks. When emotions are running high, take a breather. Communication is key. Remember, in blended families, it's all about teamwork. Don't let anger hijack your common sense. Next time you're fuming, count to 10, then talk it out.
My wife kissed another man on a night out. I forgave her and told her I wouldn't let it bother me. Now she's blowing up at me saying I don't love her because I didn't care about it and must be into men. I, 41M, have been with my wife, 41F, for over 23 years, and for some context, we never had a great bedroom life after the first year. We would smash maybe once or twice a year at most, but at the moment, it's been going on for 3 years with no action. To clarify, she's the one who doesn't want to smash. She said she doesn't want me making the first move with her. She doesn't even want me to initiate hugs, and just bringing up smashing makes her feel under pressure. Although it bothers me, I love her and I love our kids, so I'm not going to make a big deal out of it. I know plenty of friends in the same situation. Another bit of context is that I've always been mildly overweight but always fit, as I played a lot of sports until about 10 years ago when I got really ill. A mixture of meds and comfort eating made me balloon up to nearly 300 pounds. Well, 2 years ago, I decided to do something about it, and I'm now around 200 pounds, which at 6 feet 2 inches is the lightest I've been as an adult, and I've actually enjoyed using weights. For the first time in my life, I have a bit of abs and some muscle. My wife, having always been far hotter, is pretty obviously insecure about the fact that for the first time since we've been together, women are starting to look at me and message me on my baking pages on social media. For the record, I've never even looked at another woman in that way. On to the night in question. My wife went out with some friends, a mix of singles and those in relationships. She looked stunning, and I told her so. I even updated my phone home screen to that picture of her, lol. One of the friends she was out with messaged me about 3 months ago, and the gist was she knows I get no action. My wife doesn't realize how lucky she is, and basically, do I want to hook up? I obviously instantly took a screenshot and sent it to my wife. Around 4 a.m., my wife gets home, and she wakes me up as she gets into bed. I'm half awake but can tell something is wrong, so I ask what the matter is. She doesn't say anything for a few seconds, and as I go to grab her hand, she pulls away. I ask if she wants me to get her a drink, and she says no. Then she just blurts it out and says, "I met a guy tonight, he kissed me." I didn't kiss back at first, then I did. Then for the next half hour, we were dancing and constantly kissing. She kept saying sorry and begging me not to leave her. My honest first reaction was, so what, it's only kissing and dancing. I didn't say that, I just hugged her and tried to calm her down. An hour or so later, once I got the right words in my head, I said, "I know you feel really guilty, but please don't. I'm not going to leave you and break up our family over some kissing and dancing, and I don't love you any less than I did yesterday. This isn't something that's going to grow and cause resentment." More or less right on cue, my phone goes off, and it's that friend of hers with a picture and a video of what my wife was doing. This sets my wife off again, but my feelings still haven't changed, and a month later, that remains the case. In that month since then, my wife has accused me of not loving her because I didn't care. She's accused me of kissing other people and more, suggesting that I didn't care because I was covering up my own indiscretions. She's accused me of being only into guys multiple times, which doesn't make sense. She keeps asking me why I haven't initiated anything with her, even though in the past, she's told me she hates being touched and not to ever try it on with her, which I have respected. She's basically projecting, and it's annoying me because it's putting a strain on us, which she is 100% causing. How do I get through to her that she needs to stop feeling guilty and just move on because I have? It's not a big deal to me. I was genuinely more annoyed when she broke my baking bowl and tried to blame it on the cat, lol. Edit. Over the years, we have been to a few different couples counselors and smash therapists, the latest being last September for both. My wife always feels like she's being bullied by them, and we stop going. Nearly all have said, though, they think she is asexual, and 2 even said she is displaying a lot of signs of being a closeted lesbian, which I have brought up to her before, and she is adamant she's not. People have said that if I don't get jealous, I don't love her. If she told me she was having an emotional affair, spending hours on the phone with someone else laughing and joking, snuggling on a sofa eating chocolates and watching TV with someone, etc., I'd be devastated. A dance and a kiss aren't a big deal to me and not even close to divorce. Update 1. It's been nearly 2 weeks since I made the post, and the short update is that we are getting divorced. As I mentioned in the comments, I told her I wanted us to go back to couples counseling and smash therapy. She said no to both because we had gone before, and she felt bullied. She mentioned that at smash therapy, unless she initiates touching, not just smashing, but any physical contact like hugs or hand-holding, it will feel forced and like pity affection from her. The smash therapist said that's very unreasonable, and that's why she felt bullied there. I tried to ask her a few questions too. Are you a lesbian or at least swing both ways? Don't be stupid. Are you asexual? I'm not a teenager with a stupid label. What did he have that I don't? Nothing, I just wanted to do it. Why don't you ever want to do that with me? Don't know. What can I do to make you want to do that with me? Don't know. Do you want me to take the initiative and try to initiate physical contact with you more? No, I'll tell you when I want it, don't guess. So she refused therapy and gave me no straight answers. She also said I've gone back on my word about not letting the kiss split us up because now it is. I said it's not the kiss, it's your behavior since then that has caused me to want a divorce. She said since it's my decision to divorce and it's all my fault, then I should be the one to tell our kids, and she will have no part of it. That was hard. As soon as they were told, my wife left for her sisters, and in the 3 days since, I haven't heard anything from her. I've tried speaking to her about the kids as they miss her, but she reads my messages and ignores me. A lot of people asked about the friend and why they still talk after she tried it on with me. From my understanding, my wife tried to get the friend group to cut the friend out, but they all pretty much refused, so my wife chose to ignore her in group settings. On the night in question, the friend approached my wife and told her if she didn't tell me, she would send me the video. So my wife didn't tell me because she felt guilty but because she was forced. I've also spoken to a couple of other friends in the group and asked what's been going on that I'm not privy to. Apparently, my wife was intimately texting her friend's boyfriend a couple of years ago. My wife has also been boasting about how she has me under her thumb and gets away with giving me nothing, and I'm too scared to ask if that's true or not. The friend apparently saw me out shopping one day and decided I was now more smashable and thought she'd try to exact some revenge on my wife. So she didn't really want me, I was just a pawn in this weird friend group's internal beefs, which I found out about in the last few days. Basically, they all seem to hate each other and mess with each other's partners. I'll be honest now, and I feel incredibly guilty about it, but when she left, my body and soul seemed to take a massive sigh of relief. It was like a black cloud that was dripping eggshells on the floor for me to constantly avoid had gone. I feel terrible for feeling this way, but I feel like I'm my 6 feet 2 inches height now rather than a browbeaten 3-foot person who was scared to even say anything for fear of being told I'm wrong, insulted, or ridiculed. It's like the blinkers have been taken off. I spent the day today baking with my kids, eating Easter eggs, and watching cartoons, and I haven't stopped smiling all day. I haven't winced or broken out in a sweat worrying I'm about to be told off about being too noisy, watching the wrong thing on TV, or there's a wrapper on the floor, etc. Thank you everyone for your support on my last post.
All right, let's talk about a wild situation that's got everyone talking. Picture this. A loyal husband finds out his wife cheated. Now, most guys would be out the door, right? But this dude, he's like, it's cool. We can work it out. I mean, that's the golden ticket for cheaters. But here's the kicker. The wife's behavior was so bad, she lost the one thing every cheating partner dreams of. It's like winning the lottery and then setting the ticket on fire.